In Louisiana, cool fronts in the summer are about as common as honest politicians. They're really, really rare. But we had one come through yesterday afternoon, and I gotta tell you, getting my boat ready here in the pre-dawn, it is really, really nice. I know it's gonna get hot today. It's also gonna be a little bit breezy, but those cool fronts typically bring with them bluebird skies, and that's definitely in the forecast today. So you know what I'm doing. It's the summer of sight fishing, so I'm gonna go hit some ponds and see if I can find some redfish. If that wind doesn't get too bad, I don't think I'll have a whole lot of trouble, but time will tell. Let's see. All right, as promised, it is bluebird. I mean, there's not a cloud anywhere, not a cloud in the sky. So we're at the end of a falling tide. It's not gonna fall much longer at all. So I've decided to kind of take advantage of these conditions and hit this bayou that has just some gorgeous water. Not only pretty water, it's got a lot of bait. I will certainly sight fish at some point today, no doubt about it. But right now, I gotta see if I can catch some reds and bass in this little bayou. Conditions are just too perfect for it. I mean, this water's gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that. There's a fish. Bass number one of the day comes on the Pro's Choice Fluke. And he's a giant. He's a giant. That's what you're gonna catch around here though, these little bass. You're not gonna run across very many that are much bigger than 1.5 pounds. He'll take the ride home. Look at the water draining out of this trenasse. I don't know if you can see it because of the sun, but man, that is a prime spot. Doesn't mean we'll catch anything there, but boy, does it look good. There's one. Oh, man, I missed him. Set the hook right into my own bait. Probably not the only fish there. Nope. Nope, there's one. Another bass. A little bit nicer fish. All right.
This episode of Marshman Masson is brought to you by Puglia Sporting Goods.
Right in that trenasse, right where we thought they'd be. Just had a bite. Oh shoot, another bite. There's another one. You just cannot beat the end of a falling tide. So good. There's another one. They're stacked up. Now I'll tell you this, the funny thing with this type of fishing, you find something like this, they bite every cast, and then they stop. At some point, they're gonna stop. It never slows down, never gives you a warning. It's just every cast and then nothing. There's another one. Boy, is that a guppy. Foul hook the brim, how about that? Green sunfish. No, it's actually a red ear. As I mentioned, you go from catching them on every cast to catching them on no casts. We're in the no cast portion of that. Gotta enjoy it while it lasts. And move on and go find some other spot that's similar. Hopefully there's other trinaces draining into this bayou. You could probably come back here in 15 minutes and the spot would reload and you catch some more, but odds are I won't do that. I'll be long gone by then. All right, time to move along. It was fun while it lasted, definitely. Well, that didn't take long. We didn't move very far. Looks like a little bit better fish. There's another one. All right, I didn't really move on. I just kind of moved down the bank just a hair and changed the angle of my cast. Pretty bass. Look at this guy. Love it. Another one, a little bit smaller than the last. Now in rigging these flukes, every now and then you'll rig one to where when you twitch it, it floats up, it shoots up, comes to the surface, sometimes even breaches the surface. I don't like that. I like them going down. So what I'll do in that situation is just take it off and re-rig it and try and get it kind of arched a little bit in the back so it'll head down. So if you're fishing a fluke and you're finding you're not getting bites, try and change the way it's rigged. Oh, there's a fish. There's a fish. Another bass. I switched over to this Echo 1.75 just before we bail on this trinace. The change produced a bass with a black spot on his side. Look at that. All right. Now this is a crankbait, but I almost never just crank this bait. Oh, there he is. There's another one. Not quite big enough, but man, these fish love this thing. Now, as I was saying, for that fish bit, I don't ever just crank this thing. I fish it with twitches. And almost invariably, I get those hits on the paws. And I don't pause it a ton. It is a very, very buoyant bait. So if you pause it too long, it really rises. But just that action of stopping that bait just does something to inspire them to feed. And you know, this is a Bill Lewis product, so you know it's nice and loud. If you've ever fished a rattle trap, you know you can feel it in the boat, particularly in an aluminum boat. These Echo 1.75s are not quite as loud, but man, they are pretty loud. One other thing that makes this bait so much fun to fish is when the fish hit it. Oh, like that one. It's not a subtle hit. They drill it. What's up, big guy? All right. As you can see, we haven't left this one little area. That's our trenasse. This is down current of our trenasse. The water's just rushing through here. It's actually a very clean bank, not a lot of grass right here. I bet it's a steep drop off. These fish are just kind of holding all throughout here. Gotten bites out over here, bites in the middle. Just a ton of fish here. We haven't been fishing long at all. I already got a limit of bass. Limit in Louisiana is 10 per angler. And I know I have to say this every few videos. These are marsh bass. They don't get very big. You're not hurting anything by keeping your limit. There's a bazillion of them. They don't always bite. Many days you struggle to just catch a few, but days like today, whew, boy, they bite well, and man, it's a lot of fun. And they're tasty. They're really good to eat. Very good to eat. I don't keep any fish over about 1.5 pounds in size. Sometimes I don't even keep the 1.5 pound ones, just 1 pound and under. But I love to target these fish. At some point very soon, we're gonna move on to sight fishing reds. The wind has really picked up, so that's not gonna help with that. But my day is already made. If I can run across a few redfish, just even lay eyes on some, maybe get a hook in one or two, I'll be thrilled. In fact, I've kind of talked myself into it. Let's do it. Let's go chase some reds. Go see what we can find.
This episode of Marshman Masson is brought to you by H&H Lure Company and by Cito New Orleans and by Matrix Shad and by Death Grip Jig Heads and by Plaquemines Parish.
All right, so I'm up in the tower in a pond with, as you can see, some super clear water. Now, the bad news is that this tide has gotten so low. It's still falling. It's incredible. But it's gotten so low that all this grass is just matted. We had a tropical storm pass a few days ago, Cristobal. I was hoping that would have stripped out a little bit of this grass, but it really hasn't. It's really still matted. And with this low tide, it just kind of exacerbates that. So this endeavor may not work. We're gonna give it a whirl though. Oh, there's a red. There's a red. Oh, he's spooked. Well, I saw that one way too late. I was on top of him before I saw him. He charged at my bait and then kind of swirled away. I may have had grass on it like this. I thought for sure he was going to hit it, but he did not. He also swam right into my shadow. That's unfortunate. All right, there's another pond right around the corner that looks fishable. Never fished it, but I'm going to check it out. But I'm gonna blind cast my way over there. So this tide is still falling. And in that pond I just fished, I only saw one red, which is pretty bad. But maybe because we're at the end of this falling tide, all the reds have pulled out that are in the bayous. We didn't catch any at the bayou we fished previous to this. We did catch a bunch of bass, but that doesn't mean there's none in the bayous around here. Just gotta see. And that wind has gotten absolutely ferocious. It is terrible. It's really screaming. I had to cross a lake to get in here, and it was solid whitecaps. Really adventurous with this platform up on the front of the boat. Oh, that's a fish. Another bass. All right, we made it into that other pond, and the water doesn't look so good. Hoping it gets better over here. It looks a little bit darker, but I'm thinking this is going to be our last stop of the day. Just not good sight fishing conditions, or at least not with my limited knowledge. We've got a beautiful sky. That's not a problem. But we're at the bottom of low tide, and it just seems like these fish are not in the ponds, or at least not in any ponds I've run across yet. Also, the fact that it's low tide means a lot of this grass is just matted and unfishable. Got to come back when the tide's higher. But we'll give it a whirl in this pond, see if we can find some better water. This water doesn't look all that good. Oh, there's two reds. There's two reds. Hopefully they don't see me. Oh, they saw me. All right, let's give away one more Bruin fishing reel. If you're a regular viewer, you know the drill by now. Just go on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and post the following words. Have you seen the new Bruin fishing reel? Tag me in it, and then DM me your email address. That's all there is to it, and you'll be entered into the drawing. All right, as far as sight fishing goes, it just wasn't in the cards for us today. I covered a lot of water, saw a total of 3 reds, 2 of which were together. I feel like I could just keep fishing ponds, and I just won't see a whole lot of fish today. The fish just seem to have been pushed out with this low water. I'm a little disappointed, but definitely not discouraged. Excellent day for bass fishing, and we caught a whole bunch of those. So the quest for sight fish reds will have to continue another day. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you be notified whenever we post a new video. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson.